What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Soge King to a God, and we are talking about One Piece chapter 1074, chapter called Mark 3. Alright, so just going off straight from the cover page, Mads has given up trying to be number one, and now you see Queen, Caesar, and Judge. Now they are fighting for the number two spot with each other. This shows the dissension in Mads and how they became at each other's necks. I think it's funny that earlier in the cover page we see that Judge actually forgot who Caesar was. So like it really goes to show that on his journey to number two, he like literally just tried to put everyone else on behind him, including Caesar, which I find kind of hard to believe. Maybe he was just being a little petty, but I think that is funny still. Another question I do have for just this cover page is it just feels like this cover story is really important to the lore of One Piece in general. So I am wondering how the anime is going to incorporate this cover story, because not only does it show like Vian Augur stealing not Carrot, what's her name? Pudding. Not only does it show Vian Augur steal Pudding, but it just shows, you know, more about Aokiji and his defection. It shows a lot about just how Mads became a thing. It even introduces Stussy, Miss Buckingham. So like, I just feel like it's super important. I really wonder how they are going to incorporate that into the anime, because the anime doesn't cover the cover stories. And the cover stories are beginning to be more and more important, as we're seeing. Like before, they could be a little forgettable. That Eneru cover story was a big deal in my eyes, but I do wonder if they are even going to incorporate it in the first place. Between the Bubble Shield and Iceberg name drops, I wonder if Khalifa and maybe Bluno are going to be playing a part in this arc. I did see in like One Piece Film Red, Bluno did play a pretty, like, he had a sizable role in that movie, without spoilers, but he was like the only CP 9 agent that was really like prominent, and he was pretty prominent in that movie. So I wonder if this is like kind of a hint that he'll be making a return in some way. They do mention just Water 7 and Iceberg San, and I wonder if Iceberg will be getting some type of cameo into the future, or what Iceberg could be working on. Is Iceberg going to be important, maybe like with anything regarding Pluton? I do wonder if that would, you know, if that is maybe a hint from Oda saying that, like, oh, maybe this is the information that you guys need to be thinking about moving forward, because it does seem like a random name to drop. We get to see Sentomaru in this chapter. He looks like he's on his last legs. To me, kind of looks like maybe Kizaru will come and maybe finish him off. It doesn't look like he has very much to do in the story, right? Because as soon as Jay Garcia shows up, he can just take control of the Seraphim, and Sentomaru's role hierarchy in like the pacifista Seraphim, like giving orders, is just not very high. So like, I don't know what else he could do other than he was just the pacifista guy. So I think that like that is, his time is up, and it would be very emotional at this point to see somebody on their last legs get done in by Kizaru, and then that would go into my agenda of saying Kizaru is like the antithesis of Sanji. Everything that Sanji doesn't want to become, like a heartless soldier, that's exactly what Kizaru would be. So like, but that's just me. We got to see the new drip from Brook and Stussy and Zoro. Brook looks kind of like a spaceman. Stussy just looking fine as all hell. And Zoro, his drip is cool and all, but it doesn't make any sense. His sword is on the inside of his jacket, yet his swords are outside of his jacket. So how are his swords not being cuffed by the jacket? That's just my only question. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But other than that, he looks like the opposite of Usopp. Usopp has like the black jacket with like the white shirt, but Zoro has like a black jacket with like the black suit. So like they kind of look the same kind of drip there. So yeah, let me see. I like Zoro's drip, you know. I just don't really like the onesie thing, but I wish they actually had pants. But you know, I think they're supposed to be like in spacesuits, and everything that goes towards space piece is what I'm all about. You know, I'm all ever since for a long time I've believed in space piece, but since Kaku said that the space dragon isn't supposed to be on this sea, makes me think that there is a white sea, white sea, and then space sea. So like, I definitely, I'm believing in the idea of space, and the suits are really showing that to me. We get to see more of like this kind of traitor talk. Shaka is still acting fishy. Every time he over explains something, it makes me think that more and more he could be the traitor. I mean, realistically, when you think about it, he's the one who brought up that I think that we're gonna die. If he's the only Vegapunk who thinks that they're gonna die today, and I think the fact that he does think that means that he's gonna make sure that that happens. He's gonna try and get rid of all the Vegapunks. So, or maybe save for one. I think maybe only one Vegapunk gets away, and that Vegapunk is gonna be Lilith. So far, we've seen both of those are the two most prominent Vegapunks, even so more than the Stella body, I'd say. We see mostly Shaka, mostly Lilith, and then the Stella, and then the other Vegapunks are kind of fly away. Atlas is probably the next one up who gets the most attention, but I don't think that all those other Vegapunks are as important as the Stella body, Lilith, and Shaka. So if there is a traitor, it's either going to be Shaka or Lilith, and right now it seems like we're set up to believe that it's Lilith, but in reality it's Shaka who's pulling all the strings, and I think that Shaka might be the one who's sabotaging the Vegapunks from the inside. I mean, realistically, he's the one who's at the computer. He's the one who's mentioning the monitors. He told Pythagoras to go a certain way, and then Pythagoras got. And speaking of Pythagoras getting got, we see some sound effects. It's like a katak sound effect. When I looked it up online, the only thing that I could see was that the only thing that made that katak sound effect was actually Emu when he was walking towards the Straw Hat in 906. So that really made me think, like, could it be Emu? I really doubt that, but that'd be like a crazy reveal. But when you think about it, like it sounds like kind of like a heel step. So it could be somebody in like boots, maybe. It could be Khalifa, who showed up with Bluno with the door fruit. Maybe Hattori summoned them, or it could be anybody at this point, or it could be. I see people talk about it being Caribou. Caribou wears boots, so maybe. But I don't think that. Well, it's all a possibility. I don't think that it's something that we have enough information to really guess off of right now. So it's like and you can guess anybody, and if you're right, it's just like the pure stroke of luck. But I don't think it's necessarily something that's been really fed to us as readers as of yet. Right now, before I was giving Lucci a lot of smoke. I still think that Lucci is getting underplayed in this arc because he came back as like a awakened zone, but I still think he's getting a little underplayed in this arc. But he's just like, the way that they're showing him, he's just looking very free right now. Him and Kaku are looking very free. I wonder if they're gonna get up, how they're gonna get up, and if they're gonna be fighting again. We do see that the team has swapped into teams. Like the Straw Hat team has swapped into teams. Like you see Jinbei, Nami, Jinbei, Nami, and Brook seem to be in one team, and then the other team is Sanji, Robin, Chopper, and Stussy. So maybe it's gonna be like Frankie, Zoro, Usopp, and Luffy staying back. Like I want to either see like straight flashback stuff or straight up to just the different squads where they're heading, that type of stuff. You know, Nami's looking for treasure, and then I guess Sanji will just look for the Stella body like everyone else is supposed to. The Kuma backstory is looking very hot right now. We do see Kuma being attacked by like regular people, and then you do see like the silhouette of what looks like a celestial dragon, and that makes me think about how Kuma ended up being a slave again. So really made me think that he was originally a slave, and that's why as a warlord he ended up turning back into a slave. They turned into a robot because he just couldn't be controlled or whatever. Really makes me just, I'm really waiting for Oda to put those pieces together to really make it make sense. But right now, just kind of more questions. We're just gonna have to like wait and see. Bonnie is stepping up. She's really like showing her determination. And instead of like Zoro, when he went into the memory, he got pain. Bonnie's experiencing like a pain in her soul, which I actually feel bad, because like if you had like, imagine, I'm thinking about like our parents and stuff, and like all the stuff our parents don't tell us about their past to like protect us, right? So like Bonnie's just getting a full dose of like the worst parts of her dad's life that he never told her. So it's just heartbreaking to see a little bit, but I'm loving like that emotional weight is really carrying this arc for me. And then the chapter ends with Vivi making like a surprise visit, and this is just one of those things that's happening all arc where we just keep getting flashes into different people, and like as cool as it is to see Vivi again, and like it just adds more questions as to what happened at the Reverie and how all these characters ended up where they are and how these things are all going to tie together. I'm just like, it's cool and all to see Vivi, but I know in next chapter we probably won't see her again, and I just want to know what the connection is between Vivi, between Bonnie, between Sabo. What did they all see? What is different for each of them? Who killed King Cobra? All these answers we're just waiting and waiting and waiting on. And as cool as this is, it's just more waiting. So it's just hard for me to get really excited knowing that we're not going to get answers for a little while. You know, I'm thinking that we're gonna get more backstory, and then more backstory from Kuma, and then maybe some Straw Hat runarounds, you know, just like the team up stuff, and like just more Straw Hat moments. Hopefully not so much. Maybe we'll get to see like another Stella satellite get taken out. I think that could be a possibility, but other than that, yeah, just most of that, and it'll probably end on another hype cliffhanger, maybe something like with Saturn, or maybe something with Kuma arriving to the top of the Mary Joie, or maybe even Kizaru, they make it to Egghead, something like that. But it'll be just another cliffhanger. That'll be something cool like that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think will happen in the next chapter. Peace, and like and subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. You know what it is.